The draft is over. Free agency's over. It's time to dial back in with the quarterback. We're also going to take some of your questions in a Diehard mailbag. Show starts right now. CHGO Bears. To the CHGO Bears Podcast. The sun is coming out on this Monday morning. Is it coming out on your Chicago Bears too?
Of course it is.
Wow, Hoge. That is such a sunshiny way to start the show.
It is. Well, I'm just trying to make up for what Pizzatola's already trolling you in the comments 3 seconds into the show. I thought you needed it.
I mean, who starts the week with Happy Monday, everyone except Carman? I mean, what type of a terrible person would do that? Seriously.
Pizzatola.
Sounds very endearing, actually.
Somebody needs to put Pizzatola in jail.
Pizzatola.
In jail.
We should jail Pizzatola for like 1 week.
Well, kind of bringing this whole show full circle in a tease, we're going to end the show by talking about somebody who came out of jail.
Ooh. That is a tease.
How about that?
Oh yeah, that's right. I saw that in our show prep.
Which you definitely did.
I did see that.
I didn't see it.
I put something underneath that piece of show prep. Hoge.
There you go. Happy Monday, everybody, including Carb. We are back after a fun week, and we had a lot of things going on. We had the event Saturday in Milwaukee, which was very successful. Heard
At
a
the
lot of
Potawatomi Casino.
I won $211.
What's that?
I won $211.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's go.
What'd you play?
Super Buffalo video poker.
You played Super Buffalo video poker?
Great White Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, I'm $211 richer. I don't need the judgment here.
These days are insane. Don't question it. Just enjoy it.
Nah, because Steven's my guy. I thought he'd sat down, play a little blackjack, play some poker. He went video poker. He went
I was in a hurry. I guess I could have just put it all in red.
This is a true story. Friday, I turned on my TV, watched horse racing, took Edzo's first pick I saw, immediately won $200.
Shout out, Eddie. Shout out Edzo.
Nice. Edzo still got it. And he was in Winnipeg by last night calling Game 7, which was outstanding, which we'll circle back and probably discuss at some point. That's not why you're here, though. We got a lot of fun as we go into sort of an interesting week in the NFL calendar. We're still kind of wrapping things up from the draft. Rookie Minicamp. Some went on over the weekend, not for the Bears. They're coming up this weekend. We will have that covered for you, by the way.
Of course.
Friday and Saturday, we're going to have some special coverage coming your way for Rookie Minicamp. And we got the NFL schedule coming out in about a week and a half next Wednesday. So plenty of things still fueling the NFL machine here on CHGO Bears.
Anytime you get an opportunity to use the number 9, you should. Mainly because Jordan Olympic 9.
That's why it's my favorite number.
Love Potion number 9.
That's a great point.
Love Potion number 9.
Yeah. You proud of me
it's
for
very
that
romantic
reference?
of you. I like that. I like that, Gregory. It's good.
It's more your
that is my era. I was big into the 60s rock.
Charlie O'Neill says he lost $100 at the blackjack table at Potawatomi. Well, that's because Steven just stole it from you.
Took all of your luck. Sorry, Charlie.
He just swiped it.
But you didn't really.
Cam, I like that comparison.
For the record, Charlie got $100 for going to the event, so he didn't really lose it. He just didn't add on to it, and it was his entertainment for the night.
That's a good point. All right, so I thought this would be a good opportunity. You know what's weird is we went through free agency. We did a ton of draft coverage, obviously. We haven't talked about the quarterback that much lately. Have you guys noticed that?
Isn't that nice?
It is nice. Very big departure from last year.
Last year we talked about the quarterback every episode for 7 months.
4 to 7 months? Somewhere between 4 to 7 months.
Really?
Yeah, every day. It's true. But I thought it was it's Monday. We're starting a new week. Just a good opportunity to kind of reset the quarterback conversation, I thought. now that we have the upgrades of the offensive line, the weapons they added in the draft, we'll do this again by the time we get out of the offseason program into training camp. But I thought we'd look at this way now that we have a little bit more context with what Caleb is working with this season. So the question will be, and we're going to look at this both positively on the bright side, and then, maybe more if things go wrong here in a second too. We could discuss that side of it. But the question basically is, a successful 2025 for Caleb Williams would look like blank.
Mm-hmm.
What would it look like for you?
It would look like me doing cartwheels down Lakeshore Drive naked.
So how do we avoid that, please? Because I'll pick that.
And let's get to B block.
If it was Bears win Super Bowl, but the consequence of that is Greg doing cartwheels naked down Lakeshore Drive, I would say no Super Bowl. I'm good. That's how much I don't want to see that.
There's a lot of people that would happen to enjoy that. Thank you very much.
I feel bad for everybody who has one of those gorgeous apartments or condos on Lakeshore Drive.
Those people would not enjoy it.
Let's just be clear that Greg is slowly getting into prime shape.
I am.
And
down 10 pounds here in the last few weeks.
Down 10 pounds. There you go. Way to go, Greg. Way to go, Greg.
It's good. And I'm back up 6.
And the future, as I look to my left, is even brighter because there is a drop of a way to go, and I know you're going to go there.
We're going to do it.
You're going to do it. I'm right there with you.
All right.
We have to.
Should I go first here?
Yes, you go first.
Okay. Well, I'm going to set some of these marks kind of high, and some of them I think are somewhat realistic too. Well, I think they're all realistic, but we are talking about number 1 overall pick who seemingly has the coach now, who has an upgraded offensive line, who's been given enough weapons that now the conversation is sort of switching to, does he have too many weapons? Which is not really a thing.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, that's not really a thing.
Man. Thank you. That's a great problem.
Right. Exactly. We'll take that problem. So, a successful 2025 for Caleb Williams would look like, guys, the first ever 4,000-yard passer.
Yeah.
In Chicago Bears history. I will take that. I'd like to see his completion percentage go up to 67, which I think is realistic in this offense with what Ben Johnson's preaching. It was 63, 62 points?
63.
Something last season. A high mark would be getting up towards 70. I think Jared Goff was like 72 last year in this offense. So I'm not asking for the moon there. 67%. I'd like to see that increase beyond that in the future. But just talking about 2025, I'd like to see the touchdowns go from 20 to 30. I think with all these weapons we're talking about, Ben Johnson coordinating this offense, I think that's realistic. I am allowing him to throw 6 more interceptions than he did. Mm-hmm. Double your interceptions. Double your trouble. Double your fun, Caleb Williams. From 6 interceptions to 12.
I like where your head is at.
I don't want that to happen. But with everything else I'm asking for here, I think it's realistic that the ball is going to go into harm's way a little bit more. And that's just going to happen. The sacks need to come down. I want less than 40.
Mm-hmm.
Fewer than 40 sacks in 2025. And then here's a big one. Because at the end of the day, you need to win football games.
Mm-hmm.
Lead the Chicago Bears to the playoffs. I don't care if that's a division title or in as a wild card, just in a playoff game. That's what a successful 2025 looks like for me, for Caleb Williams.
I like where your head is at. I have my own spin on it, of course. Yards were basically equally similar. I said 38-39.
That's not. Why is it so specific?
Because 38-38 is what Eric Kramer threw for the most of Bears all time. I want him to. I want that record to fall. So get to 38-39. Anywhere above that, that's good. We need to not have Eric Kramer hold the record for single season passing. And by the way, the fact that Jay Cutler doesn't have that is pathetic. Reminder to all you Cutler fans out there, he was mediocre. Okay. The completion percentage, I got 67 with you too. Now, of course, my reasoning, Hoge, is elite on why 67. 67% for the completion percentage, that would put him to top 11 last year. And by the way, 38-39 will put him in the top 12. Those are, I think, fair, realistic, good goals to get. You complete 67% of your passes, you're in the top third of quarterbacks, that's completely fine. 25 touchdowns, which is where I'm at, would actually move him into the top 10. His touchdown numbers last year at 20 were a lot better when you compare him to the rest of the league than I actually thought about it. I mean, his numbers in general are better when you really look at it. Eye test was the eye test, but neither here nor there. 25 touchdowns for me. 30 would be incredible, but I'll stick it at 25. Interception-wise, I said it last year. I'm going to say it again. The dude needs to throw some interceptions. He needs to take chances. The most in the NFL last year were 16. That was Kirk Cousins. This is a quarterbacks that started 15, 16, 17 games. The most was 16, Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield had a great year last year. I'm totally okay with Caleb throwing interceptions, learning, taking chances. Let's go. It's okay. You're in your second year. Quit holding the football. 16 interceptions. Totally fine. That's fine. Now, sacks-wise, though, I want him to cut that in half. So 68, half of that, Gregory, is 34. Excellent. So let's get down to 34. Knock that need to have a major progression. I mean, 68 sacks is completely ridiculous. 52 was number 2 last year, C.J. Stroud. He's got to come way down from there. So, and then, Koge, you said playoffs. Give me 9 wins. Let's get over 500. Let's go +4. I like your playoffs a little bit better than my 9. But if the Bears got to 9 and he did all of what I said, I would walk out of next year thinking that was a hell of a good step in the right direction to Super Bowl whenever it is.
My only complaint is how much you lowered the touchdown to interception ratio. Because
25 to 16?
Right, because he was like 3.3 last year. I lowered mine down to 2.5, which I didn't feel great about, but I accepted it because I'm having his touchdowns go up to 30. You got him down to 1.56.
Yeah, that
makes me a little squirmy.
You should be squirmy on that. And I actually was looking at the sack to pick ratio. How many? Because Caleb last year 60.
I didn't know that was a stat. But
It's a
Carm
it's
stat.
a Carm official sack.
Yeah.
I was just looking at who threw minimal interceptions like Caleb did 6, but didn't take a lot of sacks. I thought is that interesting to you, Greg?
It's very interesting.
It is? Okay. So who do you think joined Caleb with what are you laughing at?
Nothing. Just keep going.
Okay.
Don't get distracted.
Who do you think something's funny is happening?
Quit being distracted. You're on a roll.
Okay. Who do you think in the NFL, Steven, you're in this too, Hoge knows the answer. Who do you think threw 6 interceptions just like Caleb did last year, but instead of taking 68 sacks, he took 14?
I have one
Jared
guess.
Goff.
Incorrect.
I was going to go Justin Herbert.
So Herbert has an impressive number on it, but the answer is Josh Allen. Josh Allen, 6 interceptions, only 14 sacks. The other ones, I just got Herbert confused with another thing that I looked at. That's not incorrect. Trevor Lawrence, 7 interceptions, 18 sacks. Tua, as nobody would be surprised, in only 11 games. 7 interceptions, 21 sacks, and then up the way, Stafford, 8 interceptions, 28 sacks, and then you get to the 9 interception crew. Jaden Daniels, 9 interceptions, 47 sacks. Joe Burrow, 9 interceptions, 48 sacks. And then I was looking at the low sack numbers. Well, one guy had 11 picks last year and only 14 sacks, and that dude's in the division. His name is Jordan Love. So I just thought it was interesting. Who didn't get picked off a lot and who got rid of the ball? Caleb didn't get picked off, but he didn't get rid of the ball. He's got to get rid of the football.
Well, yeah, because Josh Allen also, surprisingly, his completion percentage was down at 63.
Right.
Which is just saying, to me, that's saying he's throwing the ball away a lot.
Well, and Braggs, you mentioned it as far as completion percentage, or maybe it was just you, Hoge. I'm sorry. Goff, of guys that started 17 games, best in the NFL last year, 72%. So
right. So
let's
I don't
go
know.
Detroit Lions offense.
How do you guys want to
try
do this?
to do that.
Keep going, Greg.
You want
what
me
do you
to
got?
go, or do you? Okay, well, let's stretch this out a little bit. So math isn't my strong suit. We all know this, right? So I had to come up with a formula in which to come up with these numbers. And it's interesting because Carmen and I were pretty close, even though I thought we were using the same formula. So I thought you were ahead of the game on me.
You thought you created a formula that I also used? That's
Yes, sir.
That's an amazing thought process.
But you guys didn't have to use numbers like I did.
Right, but
You could just be like, a successful 2025 is he wins the MVP.
well, let me explain the formula.
not Bears fans who like to bet that every year.
Let
on
me
whoever
explain the
quarterback
formula.
is.
So Jared Goff's first 2 years with the Lions were 2021 and 2022. So I looked at those numbers and tried to split the difference with also adding in what Caleb's numbers were last year as a rookie, knowing that this year now he's going to go into his first year with Ben Johnson, second year of his career. With me?
Yep.
Yeah, 1 year without Ben, 1 year with.
The other part of the calculation is that this is Ben Johnson's, fifth year as a play caller? He was a much younger play caller is what I'm trying to say when Jared Goff came in his first year. And when you look, they had a huge jump. 2021 for Jared Goff, 3,245 yards. His second year with Ben Johnson, 4,438 yards. A huge jump. And so I was like, what is the middle of those two numbers? Well, it turns out it's about a couple hundred yards more than what Caleb Williams had last year with some of the worst play callers we've ever seen. So I found my way.
So your formula is finding the average?
Finding the average. That's right. So 3,841 yards, only 2 yards away from Carm. So Carm's on the right pace here. I looked at completion percentage, found the average, 65%. You also take in what Caleb's were at 63% last year. And so I'm going with 65% because Jared Goff's second year to his first year went from 63 to 67 or 65 to 67, whatever. I'm not going to keep going back and forth with this. 65% completion percentage this year for Caleb Williams. 3,841 yards, 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, okay? Because there was also a jump with that, for Jared Goff's development. Because essentially, obviously, there is going to be a meshing of chemistry between Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. 40 sacks. That's a lot. It's still a lot. But I'm trying to be reasonable here because there's the next stat that I wanted to bring in that you guys didn't bring up. And that's it. Caleb Williams came pretty close to 500 rushing yards last year, 491. I want him to continue to run the ball. I don't want him. He's not Jared Goff. Okay. I want him to be exactly who he is, and that's Caleb Williams. And if that's the case, you're a playmaker. You're not just a guy that stands in the pocket. And so Ben Johnson has to get the most out of that ability by letting him get out of the pocket and make plays. Do you know how many rushing touchdowns Caleb Williams had last year?
0.
That is unacceptable. So he is now going to have 5 touchdowns rushing the football. So add that with his 25 touchdowns, passing the football, 30 touchdowns, and how many total yards? Close to 4,400 total yards, or a little bit of tick above. That is my goal for Caleb Williams. He isn't just a passer, and if they try to make him Jared Goff, it's not going to work. Let's make sure he's Caleb Williams.
Really enjoyed that, Greg Bragg's.
And I also had 10 wins.
Dive.
I also had 10 wins, but let's get to the schedule first. The 10 wins thing is tough. They have a really tough road schedule, a favorable home schedule, but let's see how the NFL lays it out and where they put the bye and all that stuff. How many Thursday night games we have? Probably 4.
I thought about doing the rushing yard thing. I don't want to see him ever run the ball.
He needs to.
No, I don't want him to die.
Yeah, well, he didn't. Yeah, well, a
If
couple
I ever
times
see
he
a
almost
play
did.
like him running out of sliding or doing whatever the hell he was doing, trying to get out of bounds in Detroit where his knee bent the complete
don't do
opposite
that.
direction.
Don't do that.
Yeah, it's not great. He also, when he runs, it's almost like one leg's going one way and another one's going the other way.
Did you know that Jared Goff's first year with Ben Johnson, he had 19 touchdowns, and that jump he went up to 29 touchdowns. So that's what I'm trying to tell people. It's like that's where we have to be reasonable. Yes, Ben Johnson was a younger play caller, but look at how the chemistry from year 1 to year 2, and this is something that I need to continue.
Wait, but are you comparing 21 to 22?
Correct.
Or 22 to 23?
21 to 22, his first year with Ben Johnson to his second year with Ben Johnson, Jared Goff.
I don't think he was the play caller in 21.
Well, regardless. He wasn't?
I think Anthony Lynn was the OC. And
Are you
got
sure?
Fired.
Are you
Yeah,
sure?
He was. Yes.
Well, then this all went to crap. Delete this entire
No,
segment.
rewind like 5 minutes. I thought the reason why you were doing this was because the first year
I
didn't
thought
have
his
Ben Johnson.
first year with the Lions, Ben Johnson was the play caller. Forget it now. Forget the whole
I'm
formula.
trying to help you here. You're
It's
right.
not helping me because I was 21 to 22, but I didn't take that into account.
Okay, delete the last 10 minutes.
Delete
then.
the last 10 minutes.
I thought it was great.
No, here's why I thought what you were doing was good. It was because Caleb didn't have Ben Johnson last year. Jared Goff didn't have Ben Johnson.
Well, that
first
helps.
year. And then he did
He's
have
helping
Ben.
me.
And now Caleb will have Ben.
He is helping me. Anthony Lynn was the play
Hence,
caller.
everything you said is still true.
Half of what I said is true.
Ben was coaching tight ends, but he really wasn't involved deeply with Jared Goff. Your points all still stand.
Points still stand, even with the huge air in there. It's math. You can't expect me to get everything right in math.
All right, well, let me give you some more math here.
It's too much math. My brain hurts.
Explain the
You
other
did a
half
great
of this
job.
whole thing.
I liked it.
Thank you.
But first,
Da-na-na.
whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. There's some more numbers for you. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use code CHGO365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. That was just an amazing moment of this program's history.
Lloydimus. Even Bragg's bad stats are better than Carm's. You know what, Lloydimus?
So here's Bet365's early payout offers. I'm going to give you them all right here. Because if you're doing a hockey bet and your team gets a 3-goal lead, instant payout. Basketball, team goes up by 20, instant payout. MLB, team goes up by 5 runs, instant payout. That's on straight bets, parlay selections. They all get marked as winners. Download the app, use code CHGO365, and you sign up. You'll get all that. So again, breaking news from Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet 5, win or lose. Sign up, use code CHGO365, deposit $10, place a bet for 5. You'll get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in-app only.
I'd like to apologize to Dean Carson, not for his downloading the Bet365 app, but for telling him to bet the Lakers to win it all. I apologize, Dean. Love Carson's ribs. All right. Hey, Empire Today is your place where you're looking for the home court, home field, home ice advantage. You want the home floor advantage. I love our friends at Empire Today as they crush the big box stores and make it so easy for you to get your flooring right, because that's right. They are coming to you. Empire Today lives and breathes flooring, and they will be with you every step of the way. The flooring experts bringing the showroom right to your home. You can pick the right flooring, the right colors for your space. You see how it looks, your furniture, your house, no driving. I mean, how far do you got to go for these places? Far, a lot of times. Not so here. They're coming right to you. Get the precise measurements taken, all your questions answered, no surprises. Schedule yourself the free in-home estimate today. Some things are better at home. CHGO listeners, you get a $350 discount. Use that promo code CHGO. Yes, you heard that right. A $350 discount with the code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday.com/CHGO for full details.
All right, so we went through the scenarios in which Caleb Williams has a good 2025. Now we got to look at it. If it doesn't go right, here's why.
My sound effects today are strong.
I don't know. But first of all, everything I put out there, and even what Greg put out there in his insane calculus, Bragg's
mad scientist.
You guys know what Bragg's calculus is?
I don't know, but
It's whatever that last.
Did you get through algebra?
no, hell no.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
This is a real story. Well, this was Algebra 2.
We can say, we'll say it.
I wanna hear the story.
Algebra 2, walking to class my senior year, and he
Algebra 2 senior year is impressive.
and the math teacher writes on the board all these different formulas, and I'm like, I'm nervous. I'm writing down these formulas like, here we go. I'm going to mess this up. And he's like, if you don't know any of these formulas, get out. And me and 3 other people walked out of the classroom.
What'd you do then?
They like gave us a study hall or something. Just they're like, go away. You're not doing this.
Wow.
That's amazing. Now back to you, Hoge, with your own form of calculus, algebra.
Actually, there's no numbers here. This just this happens to be just things like if it doesn't go the way I think it will go. Here's why. I'm going to point to the timing and footwork just not clicking.
Yep.
Because I think that's an area of improvement. Not being dialed into the details, which we saw at times last year. You know, just whether it's the cadences to putting the right people in motion, like whatever the things were that were happening.
Timeouts.
Yeah, Also, can that be a thing, Ben? Can Caleb have permission to call a timeout when the clock's running down and the game's about to be over, please? Some things that maybe not be. So those are 2 things I would say would be under his control if we're going to put blame on him. Blame that wouldn't go on him, I would say these conversations we're constantly having about the offensive tackle situation, especially at left tackle. Does Darnell Wright move to left tackle? Does he stay at right but not take a huge step forward?
Right.
You know, so I think the interior of the line is going to be better, but I don't know that we have the answers for sure on the outside yet. So left tackle, right tackle issues. And then another thing we've talked about a lot in the past week. Bears did not go big at the running back position this offseason. Can't address everything. That happened to be the thing that has not really been fully addressed. So
yet.
Poor running game. It's just sometimes these conversations we have, these concerns we have in May end up being huge issues in September and October and even beyond. And I that would be one that I think we could all agree right now might not be the most well-oiled machine once the regular season starts, and that can affect the quarterback too. So those would be my reasons for Caleb not making the jump that we talked about in the first segment.
All logical. Just to add on to that, things that could go wrong. I started with he didn't listen to Ben. Like I can imagine if this doesn't happen, him and Ben are in a room and Caleb's there, but his mind is elsewhere. Somehow, some way, he just did not digest what Ben Johnson is trying to teach him and what I'm imagining are going to be some long head coach to quarterback. Do you understand the offense? Can you help us get to a Super Bowl? What's going on with you way? The other thing I put down is, and we'll find it out this year, that simply his processor, his NFL processor is not up to speed. Like he just, because if you look at the 68 sacks, the offensive line wasn't great, but he also wasn't processing quick enough. Now you've been here a year. Now you've got a entirely new offensive line. I'll get to that in a second. You got more talent around. Maybe his processor just doesn't click like it needs to click on the NFL level.
Steven's computer.
He's Steven's computer. Exactly. So we'll find out. I hope, these are the reasons that it wouldn't work out. And then the last one I put to just, adding on to what you were saying, the offensive line just doesn't gel. Like, yeah, we got all these new pieces here. It should work, but I'll leave that as an out where it's got nothing to do with necessarily. He did process with Ben, and he is processing fast enough. He does see it, but the offensive line just, however they try to put this, the tackle part together with everybody else, it just doesn't work out.
Yeah, well, and then Beijing can come in and. We're talking
about Caleb. We're not talking about the.
Sorry, I had to throw it in there.
The greatest quarterback to ever play football.
That's
that will
right.
Be unleashed in another uniform somewhere else.
My things that are on Caleb would be Caleb doesn't have the playbook down. I mean, how many years has Ben Johnson been the play caller? Well, I'm sure he's had a lot of plays. 3 years. Thank you, Hoge. And how many plays has he added to that playbook? This is going to be a lot. This is going to be a crash course for Caleb Williams. This is going to be a pivotal summer for him to really nail down the playbook and really understand not just the plays, like just the way the routes are run or the running back, which lane he's going to run through, what are you going to run left or right. You got to know who the hot is. You got to know what your fronts are. You got to know, the checks. You got to know how to align your blocking when you're calling an audible. When do you call a timeout? There's just so many things last year that went wrong that were beyond just coaching error or a player having a false start. And at times, the false starts can be on a quarterback, as you guys were talking about last week. I agree with you. Timing, footwork. It never occurred to me when I watched Caleb Williams climb the pocket in college and looking at his tape, I was like, man, this guy has tremendous footwork. But I just forgot about the part that your footwork also has to do with in your drop when you release the ball. I think that's such an underrated part of footwork when you talk about it. For me, at least, it opened my eyes last year. Like, okay, he's got to really understand 1, 2, 3, 4, get the ball out. And in this offense, with what we saw with Jared Goff, there's going to be a lot of that responsibility for Caleb Williams. Now, things that don't have to necessarily do with Caleb, but he may be a byproduct of those things. You know, Ben and Caleb not being in sync, that's going to take time, as we talked about in A block. These guys are going to have time to gel. You see how Jared Goff has come along from when he was in, with the Rams, now coming over here to Detroit and having an opportunity to expand his game and excel. Caleb's also got to have some leniency on how long that takes between him and Ben. The other aspect of this, you got 3 rookies, in my opinion, that are going to get a ton of playing time here, right? And so how is Ozzie, how is Luther Burden, how is Colston Loveland going to mix into all this while you're in a first-year offense, allowing those guys to have rookie mistakes and rookie hurdles? So those are the things for me that I think could create problems for Caleb Williams and this offense getting full speed ahead in a year that Ben Johnson showed up day one and said, we're going to start dominating teams, not just beat teams. We're going to dominate teams. So clearly they're trying to win right now, but I think there's going to have to be a grace period for these guys.
Yeah, it's all fair. It's all fair. All right.
How long of a grace period?
I know that's a tough one because they got to win now. I'm not going to fire anybody this year. I know I said that last year and then I lied.
When you say they have to win now, do they really have to win now?
You just can't walk in day one if you're the head coach and talk about dominating teams and then pull back from that.
He's not going to pull back, but
how do you come back from that? He didn't come in and say, hey, guys, we need to be patient. This is going to take time, right? So that's
Bears should have a winning record. 9 wins isn't a lot to ask for.
All right. Probably a segment for another time. But let's just say hypothetically they have a bad year this year. They go 6-11, 7-10, 5-12. What happens?
I'm gonna lose it.
Okay,
but I won't be able to fire anyone.
They're certainly not getting rid of the head coach.
Well, I think the GM's in trouble.
The GM's in trouble then. Yeah. GM, okay. I mean, that's the most logical.
And I know
conclusion.
we're gonna do it next week when the schedule comes out, but the schedule's gonna be hard. Yeah. Like that road schedule.
It isn't.
That road
Carm
schedule.
was looking at numbers this morning that have it like the 26 hardest, and I balked at that because of what you're saying.
Yeah,
the schedule's weird. They could win every home game and lose every road game.
They have one, I'd say, more winnable road game than not, and that's the Raiders. And even they have Ashton Genty now. You look at the Eagles, the Bengals, the Ravens. These are teams that are all going to be on the road schedule. But it's not going to be easy.
It's not, but there's also a lot of turnover year to year. So to say teams are definitely going to be what they are right now always ends up not being the case when the season starts. Injuries have a lot to do with that as well. We'll have plenty of schedule talk here coming up in like 10 days. But regardless, it is a tough road schedule. I won't argue there.
Look, the roster is.
Are they beating Aaron Rodgers at home? Look, we're where Aaron Rodgers is coming to Soldier Field this year, right?
With the Steelers?
I'll do this in a more passionate way down the line here. But you have a rookie tight end, rookie wide receiver, second-year quarterback. You have. I mean, it's a young roster still at some very key spots. That's all I'm saying. Give him time.
Rookie left tackle. Call my shot.
But first.
You guys give me headaches in May.
What did I do?
5 wins to Super Bowl. There's nothing in between.
I said 9 wins. Get to 9.
Drives me crazy.
Get to 9.
Summer will hopefully be here before you know it. You know it was 75 degrees in Winnipeg last night, but 45 here where I was watching a hockey game in Winnipeg. That makes no sense to me. But it is a warning.
Maybe it's telling us something.
The heat is coming. The heat is coming. And Four Seasons
80 degrees in Winnipeg today.
I'm telling you. It's up there in Canada somewhere.
Hoge weather out of nowhere. Who knew Hoge weather?
Well, they flashed to the crowd outside the stadium, and everybody was in shorts and T-shirts. I'm like, wait a minute. I know they're Canadian, but what's the... So I Googled what the temperature was. It was 75.
I mean, Winnipeg sounds like a great place to be.
I'd go to Winnipeg.
Go
but first, I'm going to go to Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric so I can get ready for all this hot weather that's coming. They've been serving Chicagoland for over 50 years. And now is the time to get your air conditioning checked out. Four Seasons, their experts are ready to help you with AC installation, maintenance, and repair. Last year was officially Chicago's hottest year on record. Probably going to continue to go up this year. And their expert technicians, they're going to ensure that you always receive reliable service. And here's another good thing about Four Seasons. They're not going to charge you more for service during the nights, weekends, or holidays like other companies do. So schedule your Four Seasons AC tune-up today. You'll save $50 and enjoy a 1-year no breakdown guarantee. Your trusted local experts are Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com.
And shout out to our friends at Shady Rays, helping you get in the right frame of mind with the premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. If you want to look as cool as Greg Braggs does at a 120 Club Friday, you want to be wearing your Shady Rays, the independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product. 5 stars, that's what it's rated by over 300,000 people. If your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. The most insane protection in all of eyewear, every pair backed by their lost or broken replacement program. You break it, you lose it, they give you a new pair. Who doesn't lose their sunglasses in like the first 2 weeks? Come on. It's a sweet, sweet, sweet perk when you buy at Shady Rays. And by the way, if you don't love your shades, you can just return them worry-free within 30 days. So there's that too. CHGO viewers, listeners, go to shadyrays.com. Save 35% off polarized sunglasses with the code CHGO. Do it now. ShadyRays.com. Over 300,000 people rating Shady Rays 5 stars. Use that code CHGO today at ShadyRays.com.
Hey, we got a Diehard mailbag coming up for you here. But before we get into that, one of the many perks of being a Diehard are the discounts you get on our events. I love all the we've been killing it with our events recently. We had the draft party, which was outstanding. Saturday up in Milwaukee, Potawatomi Casino, and the game was amazing. Well, it's golf season, and our first golf outing of the summer is coming up here really fast, actually. So this is happening June 6th. We're basically a month away. Our Cookout Classic, it's at the Village Links in Glen Ellen. You can sign up as an individual, a twosome, foursome. It's an 8 o'clock shotgun start. Again, Village Links of Glen Ellen. These golf outings have been awesome the last couple of years. We got gifts, hole contests, we got prizes, lunch, drinks, and a little ceremony after the round as well. And if you are a Diehard, you get a discount. Take advantage of your Diehard discount. Scan that QR code on the screen, and you can join the CHGO Diehards if you're not already.
I literally planned my vacation around this. So I planned it for after so I could make this cookout. I cannot wait for this.
And if that isn't a big enough reason to become a diehard, I just got some really interesting news. Fran Duffy's 2026 way too early NFL mock draft will be dropping tomorrow.
Wow.
Okay.
Tomorrow. Big.
Better have that Northwestern kid in there. Carm's going to come for him.
Damn right. Anto Saka should be in there. He knows that. He doesn't need my expertise. He's the Franimal. He's fantastic. He's got him in there.
Well, another diehard perk. We thought this morning we'd solicit some questions. Diehards have been able to hit Fran with rapid fire questions throughout the draft process. These are more general Bears questions.
I'll also be in the Diehard Bears chat today from 4 o'clock to 4:45. If you'd like to join in to ask more questions directly to me,
there you go.
4 to 4:45 today.
Carm will also give you a cell phone number too, so
I will.
You can bother him at
I
any
will
time.
show you where he lives.
You're welcome to come on over anytime, Gregory. Love to have you.
We'll start here with Austin. Our guy Austin asking, with 3 to 4 wide receivers and 2 tight ends that could all deserve a good number of snaps, what outside the box formation or personnel grouping would you like to see to catch teams off guard?
It's an upper level question right there.
I can give you one right off the bat.
Here comes Hoge. It's going to involve Luther Burden.
Yeah.
I bet it is.
Luther Burden, you watch his Mizzou film, quite frequently lined up in the backfield.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to be very clear. I'm not saying make him a running back. We'll save that for year 3 of his career. No. Let's talk like a 2-back set where DeAndre Swift's back there and Luther Burden's back there. Just one more thing to account for.
You do that with Loveland too?
The other thing is, this isn't necessarily outside the box, but I'd like to see Rome get slot opportunities. DJ Moore get slot opportunities. And not just Luther Burden. Like, let's move these guys around. Let's create some mismatches.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think you have to get like crazy exotic or anything with some of these formations, but I think the more versatile you can be, the better.
Well, and I like your idea with this because one of my first thoughts were Shane Waldron's playing London last year, where you got the split backs in the backfield. But I'm gonna put Luther Burden and Colston Loveland on each side of the quarterback.
There you
I'm
go.
gonna fake handoff to Colston Loveland. I'm gonna fake throw the smoke screen to Luther Burden, and then Cole Kmet once again right up the seam. There he is, wide open, because everybody's worried about these two.
You think they're biting on a handoff to Colston Loveland?
Hell yeah, he's 6'6".
A handoff.
Yeah.
What does his height
you gotta
have to do with
set
that?
this up. You got to set it up by giving him
Maybe
the
it's
ball.
like a 3rd and 1. Is that what you're saying? Like a short yardage situation?
Just
You're not doing this.
don't
1st and
argue
10.
with my mad scientist plays. Okay, me and Ben Johnson, we come up with the craziest plays. You last year, you'd be like, what are you doing? Penei Sewell, you're going to give him the ball to throw it? Yeah, me and Ben Johnson are going to do that. So that's something Bears fans are going to have to start to accept once again, is play callers doing things that you would never do, because Ben Johnson is exactly like that. So if you thought all this crazy plays of the Matt Nagy days are gone, they're here more than they ever were before. But this time, they're going to work.
You are correct in me thinking that Ben Johnson will never hand the ball off to a 6'6" tight end.
I disagree.
Okay.
You know that he...
Oh, wait, you're saying he will hand it off. Or are you saying he won't?
No, he's saying he won't.
You challenged us to say that Ben Johnson won't do something. And you're saying he's crazy enough to do it.
Stick to your
I'm
guns.
saying I don't think he's crazy enough to do that.
Oh, he's going to do it.
Okay.
Trust me on that.
Mark that down.
I do like the concept of moving either Loveland, Burdens into the backfield, have them flying out, causing all sorts of havoc. That's exciting. I also think that Cole Kmet's going to have his best year as a Bear this year.
Well,
Just
wasn't
mark that
Waldron's
down.
play the fake smokescreen both ways, too? Wasn't it fake left, fake right, then up the middle?
I blacked out. I don't remember any of Shane Waldron being the Bears' offensive
It
coordinator.
was a nice play. London, the last time we were happy in life.
They were so good. That team was so good that day.
The London Bears. So good.
They were so good.
I'd go back.
4 touchdowns.
back, too.
Should have been 5. Just absolutely mauling Jacksonville. I remember walking in with the Bears media. Everyone's like, the quarterback is so good. This is unbelievable. Didn't win another game until they beat Green Bay.
You mean our CEO went on our postgame show and said the Bears were the next Chiefs?
Everybody's confirming it was a fake smokescreen both ways. So, all right.
Don't
Scratch what I said. Delete what I said earlier, Steven.
How
You
much
got
of
a lot
the show
of
am I going to have to
you
delete?
gotta delete
We're
a lot of
deleting
this
a
shit.
lot of this episode.
Fake smoke screens both ways, but I'm still handing it off to Colston Loveland at some point in his career.
Stop saying smokescreen.
Whatever, just let me talk, and then we'll delete it later.
Next up in the Diehard chat is
Just let me talk and we'll delete it later. Okay, I like that. We got Noah Watson here.
Noah, what's up, brother?
Noah says, is there anything you are keeping your eye out for from the mini camps or OTAs, either player, coaching, scheme? Didn't know how much we can actually take and evaluate from these sessions. Noah, I love this question because it's a thing I battle every year. And it's an important question because I think I've kind of learned over the years the limitations to what you can take out of it. What you should take out of it, kind of what matters, what doesn't. So I'll start with Rookie Minicamp this weekend. 0 grand conclusions. What I like about Rookie Minicamp that I do take out of it is just being able to size these guys up, see them on an NFL field with, now they're not out there with the big boys, the entire 90-man roster, but they are out there with other guys who got drafted, other guys who are getting NFL opportunities. The speed ticks up a notch, size up a notch. And you just get an idea of some first impressions, how quick they look running routes, whatever it is. Some guys have some health concerns, like Colston Loveland. We're not going to see him, right? But Shamar Turner, he says he's supposed to be out there. So what does he look like coming off his injury deal? So it's kind of a case-by-case basis. OTAs, I mean, look, very little I'm going to take away from the line play. Pads aren't on. More so there, I do take note of who's lining up where, how often, depth chart things. That's all important. And then the one thing I do, and I've adapted this over the years to put more weight on it, I need the offense to look good in OTAs. Okay, you're not in pads. There should be none of this defense ahead of the offense stuff. 2 years ago, when I got crushed because I had the gall to go on the radio and be like, I'll tell you what, when Justin Fields throws the ball to DJ Moore, it looks really good. When he throws it to Cole Kmet, it looks pretty good. When he throws it to literally anybody else, it looks awful. And there's way too many balls on the ground. In 7-on-7s. The ball should not be on the ground. Offense should have the advantage. I should at minimum be seeing completions. Okay? Mm-hmm. So it's not the end-all, be-all, but when we're on OTA number 3 and we're like, oh, man, that was another bad. And I actually remember this happening last year, too. There was one day with Caleb. And the part of the problems that sucks about OTAs is they're not all open to us. So he could have a great Monday and a great Tuesday, but Wednesday happens to be the day open in the media, and it's a bad day. That does happen. So it's not, you can't overact to one day, but when it becomes a theme over the course of the 3 OTA practices we get to see, and then the mini camp, which is 3 straight days, that's when you start to be concerned about it. And that's what it was. When I came out and I expressed my concerns about Fields, that was at the end of the veteran mini camp. So that was at the end of the summer sessions we all got to see. And it was like, all right, here's my conclusion of everything we just saw over the course of 6 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm with you. What will I be looking for in OTAs? Last year, 7-on-7, Caleb was running out of bounds. Ball wasn't coming out. And I was like, well, that's not good. This guy's going to take 8 gazillion sacks if that's what's going on. And then he took 8 gazillion sacks. Not that I'm some soothsayer here, but I always respect my brilliance. Thank you very much. Back to pass, 7-on-7, boom. There you go, Luther. There you go, Cole. There you go, Colston. There you go, DJ. If that's happening, I'll actually start to get really excited about it because it will show that he's made a major jump year 1 to year 2. So of things that I'm looking for, that would be one of them. And I just saw Ozzie Trapillo somebody threw him in the chat. This weekend, just to see the physicality, what it looks like. I mean, they're not going to be knocking everybody around, but just to see what he looks like.
So that's a good example. This guy's 6'8", like not wearing pads. But what are the movement? Like, I'll never forget Adam Shaheen. He just looked clunky. Like there was something that just didn't look smooth watching him, even without pads on, like in OTA sessions. Like I'm just like, it doesn't look right.
Right.
So there's little things like that, and again, it's a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, I know what you mean by that, too, because, like, the first time you saw Gabe Karimi, he didn't look like this lock-him-down left tackle. And then even Yurko was like, no, his legs are too skinny. You're like, kind of are. I remember the first time I saw Jay Cutler at training camp. Like, everybody talked about the ball whizzing, and it did. He had an amazing arm. The first thing I said to my buddy, we were standing there, was like, I didn't realize he was fat. Like, coming from a fat guy, I know what it looks like. And he was like, quarterbacks don't have to be this perfectly built guy to be a great quarterback. We've seen that time and again. But that was like my first observation. And then when first time you see Devin Hester, or the first time you see, certain players on the team.
Jalen Johnson.
Yeah.
Ripped.
Right. Tariq Cohen, when he was out there, like, okay, these guys can play. And then you see the way they move. For me at minicamp and OTAs, I hope you're reporting how good Ozzie Trapillo looks, because I do think that he is going to be the starting left tackle of this team. I do. I'm calling my shot. I'm going to continue to call my shot on it. He's got the best opportunity to take it. Maybe you can argue Karan Amagaji has just as good of an opportunity, but when you look at Ozzie Trapillo as a start, a guy that's a second round pick, and the prioritization of Ben Johnson. This is the first year in the Ben Johnson era, so everyone kind of gets a clean slate there. That's what I'm hoping to hear. I think you guys are being a little tough trying to say, hey, everything's got to be – I'm not saying you're maybe not necessarily saying it all has to be perfect, but the ball not – as I said before earlier in the show, I think we have to be careful with – the expectations of where this offense is going to be, especially early on. They have to have a grace period to come together from a chemistry standpoint. They're learning a new playbook. They're learning timing. They're learning rookies. There's just so many variables, and they're learning this whole new playbook and language. There's so much going on that I wouldn't be surprised to hear that it's not looking perfect in the summer. Now, when we get to training camp and fans can be there, I hope that we see a level of intensity. I hope to see this team starting practice at the 15-minute mark after stretching and not after the hour and 15-minute mark that we saw last year.
Yeah,
that was ridiculous. I have never in 25 years ago to training camp have ever seen a training camp where they wait an hour and 15 minutes to actually start practicing. And that was what was occurring. And we were saying it last year at the time. You can go back and run the tape on our shows as well. We were saying it. And so I hope to hear Eric Bieniemy. If they're on the far field, there's sometimes we get screwed as fans because the bleachers are all the way on the other side and they're practicing on the furthest field away from us. I better hear Eric Bieniemy. I better hear Dan Rochar. I better hear Ben Johnson all the way from that other field. Those are the things I want to hear from this training camp and see is a different level of intensity, a different level of accountability, and then to see that accountability actually take place. When guys make a mistake, it can't happen twice. When it happens twice, there better be some kind of repercussion for that. So, I just think that there wasn't a level of accountability last year that was taking place. So that's what I want to see.
All right. 2 more questions, and we'll get through these a little bit quicker. Now get back to work. Is the avatar or the name? I don't know.
I thought you were talking to me.
Yeah, that too. If the CHGO crew could change one thing about media access to the Bears, what would it be? Like more time, practice viewing, access to assistant coaches, for example.
Practice viewing would be sweet. That is never happening, I wouldn't think.
Not during the season. Well, I think technically the Steelers let their media watch practice during the season.
I mean, if I could change one thing, it would be that I would get a weekly sit-down with the quarterback where we could just figure out everything that's going on the field and off the field.
There you go.
I don't see why the Bears wouldn't want me to do that.
I actually have a real answer to this question.
Do you?
I do. Remember, if we can, people probably maybe forgot this wasn't the biggest story last season, but right in the middle of the season, and it was actually when we went to London, there was this big controversy between the NFLPA wanting the media out of the locker room.
Oh.
And there was like this movement that seemed to last like 3 weeks where they were like, we're going to do interviews outside the locker room.
Yep.
And then it just sort of went away. seemed like. That issue's not really gone away, though.
I was going to say, it's not gone away.
It has not. And I'm going to bring us back to Bourbonnais because there's something I really miss about Bourbonnais that I thought, and it really didn't need to be something that was done year-round, but it helped during training camp a lot with building relationships.
This is a great call. You're absolutely right about this. Thank you.
They used to have, and I actually forget the length. I want to say it was an hour. I think it was an hour period of the day right after practice when the cafeteria at Olivet Nazarene University was open and to the media to eat in this. Now, it was divided where like the media would eat over here and the players over here. But more importantly than that, right outside that cafeteria was where all the interviews would happen. And you could pick off whoever you wanted, like whoever you wanted to talk to that day, which is not unlike what it is with open locker room, which is supposedly everybody's supposed to be available there. Now, some guys might have treatment. They might say, today's a bad day. I'll get you tomorrow, like whatever that, and that's fine. But it was sort of this very relaxed setting where you could talk to a guy for a while on the side and really start to build better relationships, which I will fight this to the death forever. Helps both sides. The better level of trust that's able to get built. Sometimes these days where the lack of media availability, you don't get to know these guys at all, and then there's just no trust in the situation at all. And that's not good. So anyway, this is a long way of me saying I'm not expecting that to exist at Hallis Hall, but if they really don't want the media in their safe space, in the locker room, there's a nice cafeteria there. There's a bunch of area outside that cafeteria.
What kind of food's in the cafeteria?
What?
What kind of food's in the cafeteria?
Well, that would be my...
They got a good mozzarella stick for you.
My sophomoric media answer to this question would have been, just feed us at Hallis and everybody will be happier. What I'm suggesting is maybe they do allow us to eat there, which will probably never happen. But the Steelers do allow that, by the way. But make this more of like a time period. We want to go get food. We want to meet with these players outside that area. There's a bunch of tables out there. Like, they just, you want us out of the locker room, fine. Let's use that common area then for 45 minutes, the same amount of time. And I think it would be better overall. That's my solution.
I'm actually, you're making me hearken back to a day where in training camp, the day would end, the media would be on the side of the field, and the horn would go up, and you could run onto the field and go up to whoever you wanted and grab them for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever it was. And that was awesome because it was a free-for-all where, like, you didn't just get – you didn't move in a clump of media people to the same person. Of course, I never do that anyway because why would you do that?
Others zag.
Yeah.
As we saw at the Combine.
Right. But, like, I don't know why they took that away and when they took that away. They took that away a while ago, though.
We were still doing that even 5 years ago after OTAs. Like, you could just grab guys off the field.
It was awesome.
Well, really what it was COVID. Because
Okay.
COVID was when, like, okay, now we're just going to do this. There's going to be 3 players a day.
Because the players,
the Zoom calls.
right? The players would come off at Bourbonnais and they'd be going down the line signing autographs. Then you guys would kind of hang behind and wait for them to be done, and then they'd turn around and talk to you guys for a little bit.
I kind of left that out. They did both. I mean, you could get them off the field, and then you could rush back to the cafeteria, and you could get them there too.
Yeah.
The point is that they're
and I'm not expecting it that's ever going to be like what it used to be. But that's just my...
You make a good point about building relationships, though. It is true in that regard. So, I don't know.
Yeah. They also, on game day, if you compare, like, to other sports, baseball, you're allowed on the field, you're allowed in the dugout before the game. NBA, you have pregame locker room, you can be out on the court too. Football just doesn't do it. So
I would say
some sideline availability. Some teams are better about it than others. Others you need to be like an actual like TV doing live shots situation. There's some stadiums, including Lambeau recently, where you could just go down on the field before the game.
I would say from a fan's perspective, real quick, that
Well, real quick, we need to tell people to become a diehard.
Yeah, that's true.
Before the top of the
true.
hour.
Let's do it.
Join our CHGO diehard community. You can ask questions like this. We got one more diehard question coming up. You get 20% off all merch. You get a free T-shirt. Here's something I actually didn't know, and I'm embarrassed to say this. I didn't know you get a T-shirt every year. My dad was just like, I renewed my membership for this year, and I got another shirt.
Wow.
So it's not just the first shirt you get when you sign up. You actually get a shirt every year you renew.
Shout out Papa Hoge.
Yeah.
Solid renewal of Diehard membership.
So it essentially gets you right there to where it's paying for itself pretty quickly if you take advantage of all the different.
Yeah, if you're coming to the events and you're using your discount, you're buying the merch, and you're using your discount there, which is 20% off both of those all the time.
Especially
use it on the golf outing coming up.
Especially if you buy on a discounted rate, which has been happening a lot.
When Carm gives out his phone number, you take advantage of that perk.
Mm-hmm.
Be in the Diehard Discord today at 4 o'clock for those just joining the program. Come on in.
Why'd you pick 4?
Great question by Hoge. Always going in the details.
That's when he gets done going to confessional for all his sins.
Well, today I'll be riding the train out to Naperville. That's going to go on the shout-outs here because I'm going to Naperville at 4 o'clock today. So I'll be on the train, and that's when I'll do my Diehard chat.
So how are you getting from Naperville home?
My car is in Naperville. I drove there this morning and left it there because I didn't want to drive in rush hour traffic. Brilliant move by me. Naperville train underrated, by the way. Basically goes express to the city.
You are brilliant. I would say for us fans, what would help you guys as media is if they had different audio for press conferences at the stadium and at the podium at Hallis Hall. Because when we're watching the live stream, we can't hear who's asking the question more times than not. Well, and that always hurts us from two different standpoints. We don't understand the context in which somebody's asking a question. We can't hear who's asking the question. And then it turns into this fight sometimes. And really this fight only occurs on Bears Twitter, so who cares? But it does turn into a thing where narratives
shots fired at Bears Twitter.
Well, that's the truth. So
I can actually explain that, by the way. This and we could put Paul Zarang on the phone and have him answer this because he's actually the one who did it. They did a nice job of installing these mics at Hallis Hall that pick up the questions, but you have to be in a certain radius, and there's just more media than there is space. There's people standing on the side. There's seats now on the side. So.
But they don't have it at Soldier Field.
Well, they don't have it at all at Soldier, so that's a different problem, but that's a Soldier Field problem. That's why the Bears should have their own stadium, Arlington Heights, here we come.
Okay.
But at Hallis, it's just, if you're outside the box of essentially where the mics pick up, it doesn't pick up. Or if you're Pat Finley and you just don't ask your question loud enough, then it doesn't pick it up.
Step it up, Finley.
I tell them that all the time.
Get loud.
Yeah. So that's kind of the thing. They did do a good job, I thought, of like the intro pressers when we did those downstairs. They had microphones, and you had to pass around the mic. So then you got your questions. But that's fair. All right, last question. Fresco Elmo.
Fresco.
What was the funniest moment of the draft coverage at 115 Bourbon Street, and why was it when Carman announced the Loveland pick?
And the funniest moment of 115 Bourbon Street was Pizzatola absolutely railroading Mark Carman. I mean, I found it
uncomfortable.
Just a complete steamroll. We thought that it would be like this moment where they like embraced. Like, here's Pizzatola, the reveal. Oh, we all love each other. And then Pizzatola just with the hammer.
He was breathing fire.
Just throwing uppercuts as soon as he got on the stage.
What questions what have I said that's bothered you? The Pizzatola was ready.
He pulled 25. Out the scroll.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought the Lance Briggs Lambo joke was funny.
I had some friends like, I can't believe you said that. I'm like, we've joked about it before.
My favorite moment was walking through the crowd saying hi to everybody and running into Pizzatola, pre-Pizzatola on screen, and just having a Pizzatola moment. Like, this was it.
That was funny too when Briggs was talking about Turner.
Gary was funny with
and he was like, oh, he punched the guy in the groin. He's like, good.
Yeah.
We need more guys like that.
Gary yelling quarterback.
Was awesome.
Quarterback!
Crystal showing up late on day 2 was unacceptable.
Ooh,
And
shots fired at Crystal.
No, Crystal's been on fire in the chat today. By the way, shout out to a Crystal add-on as we move it along. Berto, welcome to the program, Berto. They watch and work together. Berto or somewhere.
We had a Berto back in the day.
Is this the shout-outs? Did you already just skip the shout-outs right there?
I did because
Well, we do have one snidbit we got to get to.
Oh, we got a yeah, what's an important snidbit?
This was, I mean, the show started about somebody going to jail. This is somebody who got out of jail. Shout out to the ABC7 I team because actually,
The ABC7 I team?
wait a minute. Never mind. I think this is an old story.
Is it?
I think it is. I thought it was old when we read it.
That's funny. I did not.
I did.
I slept on that. Well, I've got some other great.
You got another snidbit?
I do have. I do have another snidbit. Yes. Well, actually, I have another shout out.
Dude, when I read it, I was like, I swear this already happened.
Well, can we move to what's more important?
Well, we could just do shout outs.
Okay, great.
Well, I'll shout out Chris. Met Chris yesterday while I was shopping with my daughter. So shout out to Chris.
Shout out Chris.
Big fan of the show. Big fan of you guys.
I know there's a lot of people out there at beef with Carm. I got a new one though.
Oh, good. Who do we got?
Well, there's been some suggestions. I think even at least one came from the guys from your left that have been accusing you of trying to knock off my haircut.
No, he is. And then I saw somebody else that knocked off your haircut. You want me to name who it was?
Who was it?
Danny Parkins.
Well, he is going through the Fox transformation. If you watch that show, I gotta hand it to them.
I saw a video of him, and I was like,
Nick
what
Wright
is
went
this?
through it. Danny's, it's slowly happening.
What's amazing about Nick and Danny and what Fox did is that Fox got both of them toothbrushes, which was amazing.
Wow.
I could use one of those.
We're clipping that one. Wow. That's a hardcore shot.
I mean, they needed it. Fox had to step in, and things have gotten a whole lot better.
But
I'm
here's the thing,
sure Steph and Danielle are very happy about it.
You work at Fox. You get all these, there's makeup rooms and all types of deals, right? Okay, we don't have that here at CHGO. I just have my guy Marcus, who cuts my hair at Lifetime. He does a fantastic job. He's been doing it for almost a decade now. Well, Marcus happens to be a fan of the show, and he's been watching, and unprompted accused you, Mark, of trying to steal what he called his haircut. Because he's the one doing it, and he was insulted.
Called it. That's what he's doing.
All right, well, Marcus, how's this? I'll come see you. But I'm not, you got him all thin on the sides. I don't do that. I got flow.
It's called a fade.
I know what it's called there, sweet Bippy. I'm not, that's not what I'm doing. So I don't see the upset. I mean, we both got the flip up top here, but
well,
I'll
tell you what, I actually defended you.
I'm in a gentleman flow here.
I did point out. I said, well, look, I don't know who cuts Carm's hair, but Marcus, you do a way better job. We got the fade going. We got attention to detail going on.
All right, well,
Carm's not even in the same stratosphere.
All right, listen.
That's true. You don't have the fade on the side. You should try the fade on the side.
Yeah, thank you, Crystal. She doesn't see it. That's all that matters. And Sheena at Midtown,
you also got
we can have a Sheena versus Marcus cutoff here.
Is Sheena gonna clean up that neck hair going on back there?
I actually stopped by Midtown yesterday, and Sheena doesn't work Sunday, so you're right. I need that. Thank you, Greg.
Got a lot going on.
Yeah, I do. But thankfully you can't see that on the show. except for the guy sitting next to me.
Well, that's why I thought I'd point it out.
No problem.
We need to speed up a little bit. We got a meeting.
All right, yeah, we got a meeting. Hey, shout out to the most amazing athlete in the city right now, and her name happens to be Grace Carman, my amazing niece, and the Lane Tech champions, now 13-1-2 after ending the New Trier Trevian 38-game win streak.
Whoa!
With a victory on Friday night in a shootout. And I gotta, just Burnside, who is New Trier's head coach, Jim Burnside, been there forever, legend in his own right. Quote in Chicagoland soccer, 45, Grace Carman is a handful when she gets the ball on her foot, but that's what we're looking for. We're looking to play the best teams in the state. Am I missing this? Damn it! 45, Grace Carman is a handful when she gets the ball on her foot. We'll just leave it at that. Jim Burnside, that is great scouting by you. Seeing his 45 give you all sorts of trouble on Friday night. Championship game tonight, which is why I'm headed back out to Naperville.
Championship of what? What round are we talking about?
This is a tournament. It was a 32-team tournament. Beat Neuqua Valley, beat New Trier, and now so New Trier was 2 in the state. Neuqua Valley was like 6, and now it's the 5 team in the state. Naperville Central. Lane is, I think, 11.
Yeah.
So, it's.
All right. I got a shout out too.
Yes, let's go.
Ryan from Men's Warehouse. I go in there, needed a suit for a baptism yesterday. Got me fitted, got me looking good. Big fan of yours, Hoge. Didn't mention Carmer Braggs, but he's a really big fan of yours. He's been following your work for a long time. I told him I'd shout him out. Ryan from Men's Warehouse, Nolan Park.
Ryan.
He's a good guy.
I almost swore.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I love Men's Warehouse. Phenomenal place. Not about your taste in podcasters, but
He didn't say he didn't like you guys. He just specifically mentioned how much he likes.
It was an implication.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to Super Chats and get out of here. Non-super here from Wyatt Carey, about to enlist into the Air National Guard, hoping I don't miss too much Bears football and or the CHGO golf outing.
Thank you for your service, Wyatt.
Yeah, Wyatt, you're
the man, Wyatt.
You're still gonna be able to come to the golf outing.
Wyatt, you're coming.
I don't actually know that, but
you're coming, Wyatt.
You're gonna be able to. And you can always catch us if you're missing Bears football. This is the best way. This show, keeping up to date with this show, is we have people that listen all over the world that are part of our armed forces.
It's true.
Garden Yay, $1.99 super chat.
Gardner.
Garden Yay.
It's Garden Hoser. Is this the same guy?
Yeah, same guy.
He switched it.
Garden Yay.
Guardian Hoser.
I'm back. We better trade for Sanborn and Huzzy. Bear down.
Great job.
He also said he's now hashtag Team Carm, I guess, because he's trying to counteract the Pizzatola-ness.
Everybody who is Team Carm is actually Team Carm, I guess. There's no other.
Look at this crap. That's why I call him Gardenier.
Listen, ultimately, you're just going to get there. It just takes some people more time.
See, Team Carm, I guess.
Oh, he said you suck.
I know.
That's messed up.
That's why he's going to be Gardenier forever now. It was only going to be temporary.
I like Gardenier.
He said that crap.
Yeah.
I like Gardner. How it's meant to be. Thank you, Gardner.
Have you seen Molly, $5 super chat? How long before Monungai is the starting tailback?
At least a year.
$5 for number 5.
Game 5, $5. He's definitely going to get carries this year. I don't think there's any question in my mind.
We could get in a split carry situation. That could happen.
I mean, prior to last year, too, Swift had a lot of injury issues. I mean, they could be forced into it.
Yeah, I don't think he'll necessarily be quote-unquote RB1, but I definitely think he's going to be on the field. Marcus Escobedo, $5. I'm with Braggs. Loveland's coach said on your show he had him doing that in high school and wanted to see Ben Johnson utilize him like that.
And he will, so now we don't have to delete that portion of the program.
Handoff thing?
Yeah.
I could remind you, Braggs, and I guess also you, Marcus, he is coming off a shoulder surgery. I don't know if you want to necessarily give him the football and say, go crack in everybody. In addition to the blocking he's going to have to do. Obviously, they wouldn't have drafted him if they didn't feel that shoulder would be 100%.
He'll be fine.
Okay.
He'll run him 50 times. Don't matter. He's good.
I've been trying to not talk about how the Bears drafted another player in the first round with an injury.
If you go back to his...
Well, then don't do it.
I'm not. Carm did it.
Well, Yeah, because I was watching some video of Colston over the weekend, and at the combine, there he was in a huge, that big sleeve that you get when you have the shoulder surgery. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that's because he had shoulder surgery.
Right.
That's how it goes.
And then they drafted him 10th overall. That shoulder better hold up there, team. I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will.
It wasn't. I will say it wasn't a labrum. It was an AC joint, which you don't always need surgery for. But obviously, they decided he did. $5 from Brendan Henderson to wrap it up. Feed you guys preferably when they improve on that C+ food, dining grade, of course. Yeah, that grade kind of surprised me because they made a massive upgrade to that cafeteria when they redid House Hall. But
we don't get to eat that. They hook us up with.
I
got no problem with
nothing from that segment was viewed as a complaint because they've been feeding us pretty good lately.
I mean, last year they hooked us up with backpacks. They gave us a water bottle, which is at the 9-hole golf course that we played at. Hoge, I got to go pick that up. My apologies. And they did some nice things. Shout out the Bears.
Bears got a toot.
Yeah.
A bear does got a toot, yeah.
Great way to end the show. Hey, have a great rest of your day. Anybody want to come out for some girls soccer tonight? Do it in Naperville. I'll be signing autographs.
Any chance that game could be moved to Vernon Hills?
No, but hopefully in the state tournament we'll get close to Vernon Hills if things go the way I'm hoping it'll go.
Johns has a game in Vernon Hills tomorrow.
Pizzatola would like one toot for Tola. Toot for Tola.
I hate that damn harmonica. Pizzatola. Come on.
Toot for Tola.
Toot for Tola.
Music is good for you.
We'll be back tomorrow at noon. We'll talk to you then.
We all silly like the mayor.